Hey guys, welcome to episode 44 of Profit Talk. Dusty and I are playing a rousing game of Guess What's Different.
I just lost because I literally, if y'all knew what went on behind the scenes, it was like I'm leaving Danica voice messages through Facebook Messenger that say, "Here's a screenshot of where I got to go," and it's 11 point whatever miles, it's 5 miles, but it was like 11.1 minutes, and I'm hurrying, and we're gonna make it at 7:01, and I've been out working on my daughter's Jeep all day, and I literally threw this shirt on. I had a t-shirt on, but it was because it was warm today. But yeah,
we may or may not have forgotten today was Monday.
And she goes, "Have you noticed what is different?" And I'm like, "Really? Seriously?"
Dusty's like,
Like I didn't even walk in and kiss my wife and say hello. So rude.
Her sick anyway. She don't want to talk to you.
She is sick, but I felt awful because I've been gone all day working on everything else. But yeah, the brakes work. I checked them on my way home.
As he's flying up the mountain.
Oh my god!
I got my new camera.
Oh, wait a minute.
So you can see like way too much of my stuff.
That's why I haven't noticed that red thing hanging on the door, because I didn't see your door before.
Yeah, that's always been, it's and it's an organizer. Like each pocket has different things of the kids. Those things are awesome, by the way, like for office supplies and stuff like that. You can sometimes find them at the Dollar Tree. But they have like seven pockets. But they are fantastic for organizing. They even have little things, like little label holder things, like you can write on the little piece of paper and slide it in. They're super awesome.
So somewhere in all my racing around, I came in and I hit the button on my computer. I connected to Danica before we went live, and I said, "Hang on just a second." And I ran in the other room and threw my t-shirt off and threw this whatever shirt was laying there on, and changed out of my cargo pants into sweatpants, but I didn't quite make it into the sweatpants, and I totally forgot my camera was on. Our bedroom's back there and the living room's here, and I wanted to say something, say hello to my wife. And so I come back through and I hear, "Oh my god, you don't have pants on." I'm like, they're boxer briefs, it's all good. And Tristan goes, "Oh," I walk in the living room, Tristan goes, "Oh my god, really?" She's like, "Who hasn't seen your ass?" So
that's what I'm saying. Selena jacket.
That's the closest I've ever cut it on a show. I mean, I've been late, and was a couple of Pickers Church where I was kind of like running at the last minute. But yeah, that was I won't do that again.
Paul is not here tonight. There's some stuff going on at his gym.
He doesn't have pants on.
He has no pants. So I told him one man in underwear was all I could take.
It's so embarrassing.
See,
I really didn't realize when I ran back through. I mean, there's people you become comfortable with in life, and maybe I get too comfortable with I really didn't think about it. I didn't.
His shirt was like, I mean, you could just see like the little bit of his underwear on his legs.
Boxer briefs, and they come to like almost your knee anyhow, so it's really not a big deal.
It was more just to embarrass him than anything.
It was, and I'm totally just sitting here going, "Oh my god, did I really do that?"
I've got a really good picture I could share of your jammies if we want to.
Oh, you should totally do it. Did you take a picture of me in my onesie pajamas?
I did at the Tennessee place.
That's awesome.
But you didn't know, you posed for it. You knew I took that.
Yeah, because if you don't have onesie pajamas, you're just not representing.
Oh, we represent the finest quality.
Oh my Lord. So I have not been home all day. I don't know what's going on in my Facebook group. By the way, check out Alabama Pickers and Resellers group for eBay and Amazon.
I've been watching it.
Christy Davis had a couple questions, which you kind of briefly told me about. We had some questions.
She was
she's new. She joined last night, and joined last night and had some questions. Seems like she'll be a big asset to everything, and so we want to cover those.
Well, I think she's going to kind of help to rewind us a little bit because,
cool.
You know what I mean? Like we get so far ahead, like not ahead, but I mean like we get so far toward more advanced things that I like it when someone new joins like the communities that we're in, because it kind of dials us back some and makes us talk about beginning things again. Because we forget.
Right.
You know, and I think that's kind of cool. But she was, one of the things she was talking about was record keeping. She wanted to know a low cost, easy way. It seems like she's not really comfortable with the techie is what I get from it. Mm-hmm. And someone said GoDaddy, of course. That one. But she said she does Etsy too. Are you feeling any better, Mama?
No, she's not feeling good. That was only left.
See me? I hope you can see me.
No, I just saw your robe.
Okay.
They only had left in 3.
Okay.
But they did have that in 6 at the same good price. And then these little things I'll have to show you are to go around the tank to keep it from breaking. No, to keep it from breaking.
Oh, I got you.
You wrap them around the glass part.
No, my ear is just really loud. It's making me nauseated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't seen her all day. Wow, that's what I just got. That was my kiss. I haven't seen her.
Shake your penis with Danica.
I haven't seen. No, literally, we have not seen each other
all day.
All day. I'm sorry.
I'm not.
You're not.
I mean, not in an ugly way. I don't feel good.
She don't feel good.
So I told you.
And what?
And when you're home, you talk, and I don't want to talk. It hurts.
Yeah, her ear's bothering her, inner ear tinnitus stuff. So she's like, quiet is better. It's a good thing that you were gone. And I got Windsor's car on her Jeep Cherokee. I got the struts replaced for the back hatch glass. I got the struts replaced for the back hatch itself. And then I was smelling a burning rubber smell, and we suspected it would be the emergency brake, you know, like your parking brake, stuck. And so we literally jacked up both the entire back half of the car and sprayed everything down with brake parts cleaner and checked everything, took all the brake, that one's disc brake. So we took all the, took everything off and checked, and there actually are drum emergency brakes. So that's all there. That's for everybody that enjoys my videos that are like nerdy how to fix car crap. Yeah, I didn't do a video today, but that's what I did today. And I'm exhausted. My poor brother-in-law was like, I got to go. I told you 6:45. It was like 6:49. I was like, I gotta go now. I squealed out of his driveway, and his mom's like going, hey, bye. I was like, I'm sorry. And they were cooking pork chop. They were about to grill pork chops. He's like, I wish you could stick around for a while. I'm like, oh, pork chops. It's not on my diet.
Pork chops.
Which, speaking of which, my diet today, I did really good. I had leftover boiled potatoes and boiled shrimp for breakfast. Yeah, don't ask. But I got stuck out somewhere today where literally my only choice was like Hardee's, Waffle House, meat and 3 type place, nasty fatty food that sounded really good. And I drove about 2 miles down the road, and I went to the health food store, and I got what was that thing I ate, Danica? Because I sent you a picture.
It's a vegan cookie. It's the ABC cookies. They're so good.
It was a vegan cookie. I don't know, but it was oatmeal and like raisin and something. It was incredible.
Yeah, you got oatmeal raisin.
And I had 2 coconut waters, and I bought some rice cakes because this health food store sucked. And I do like rice cakes, so that was kind of my lunch today. So
the cookies.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It was still probably better for me than the Hardee's $1 million thick burger, bacon and Swiss and mushroom and yummy.
Did you order some supper? Is supper on the way?
I do have Chinese food coming, but I got white rice instead of fried rice.
Oh, because that's better. Lord have mercy.
It's teriyaki chicken. It's all grilled. Yeah, I dropped the ball today. My wife wasn't feeling good. I needed to get, I literally have like my truck has this that needs to be done. Tristan's car has this that needs to be done. Windsor's Jeep has this that needs to be done. And I'm just juggling like, what can I not necessarily afford, but what parts can I get in right now that are at a really good price? And what can my brother-in-law do? And I literally just drive, God love him, a different car down there every day. And it's like, can you fix this? And he and I just enjoy hanging out. So he's like, yeah, I'll totally do it. Let's get it done. Today he made me do more of the work though, and I really didn't like that.
Heaven forbid.
I'm totally comfortable. I had old cargo pants on, and I'm totally comfortable. He's got air tools, and I'm totally comfortable with taking the tire on and off and removing brakes and doing that kind of stuff. But it was like, he's like, I'm going in the house to get another Southern Comfort, and you're going to do this. And I was like, okay. So anyhow, reselling wise, yeah, in the meantime, I had an empty mail tote on my front porch. So my mail lady picked up my crap, which was about 10 packages, I think. I just checked my seller hub on eBay, and I have 5 things that are awaiting shipment. I have not checked Amazon all day. And the first thing I always check, and if you do Amazon, this is very important, I have not had any negative feedbacks today, so that's good. The last one I had was on the 27th, 27th, 26th, 24th, 19th, 19th. Okay, so we're good there. And orders, today is the 29th. I've sold 3 things today. So
I sold some more of my dumpster dives. Oh, I told you that this morning. I sold some more software that I got out of the dumpster at Office Depot. It sold for $50.
that's awesome.
And I still have a couple. I still have stuff that I haven't even sent in from the dumpster diving. So, for you guys that don't know, Office Depot, Office Max, whatever they are now, and I think Staples does the same thing. But especially when it's getting close to inventory time, if they have software that a new version has come out, or like one of the yearly things, a lot of the companies, the software companies a lot of the places that they get the stuff, they don't want it back, and they'll just stick it in the dumpster. So an Office, those kind of places, their dumpsters are usually, there's no food there, they don't sell food and things like that. So it's worth a quick peek, because like I said, the dumpsters there's no nasty, icky stuff in them. It's just office supplies. And I went with Susoan, and we went months and months and months and months ago, and I still have stuff. And most of what we got was software. And I think the cheapest that any of it was going for was like $20-something. And that was the cheapest one. So it's worth a peek. It's not like, I could not go like to a grocery store dumpster diving, or a dumpster I had to like actually get down in. That, no. Like, Sue was on it. She had a step stool and all that stuff, so we could like step up on it.
Oh, yeah.
It was like daintiest dumpster diving you've ever seen in your life. Like, it was funny. It was good. But, even just peek. Because that's completely and totally free inventory. And, it was Amazon, FBA-able stuff. It wasn't even stuff that had to go on eBay. Yeah, it's not Crafty. I don't think that it's illegal. There are some cities that like if there's an ordinance thing, maybe in bigger places, I don't know. But everywhere that I know that has any problems with it at all, it's like a city ordinance thing. Like I don't think there's anything on state levels for stuff like that. I think it's all city.
Yeah, most of it's
Citywide.
ordinance stuff. I mean, if nothing else, just ask a cop in your town. Just, pull up next to one that's eating donuts in a Walmart parking lot, whatever, that's not obviously running a radar. And just, the police are there to serve and to protect and to serve.
Mm-hmm.
And I've found that, and I've always said this about finding like good junk stores, whatever. If you're in a strange town, just pull up to a cop and go, hey, I'm not from here. I'm looking for junk stores. I want to give some revenue back to your town to spend some money, some tax money. What can you tell me where the good junk stores are in this town?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, most of them, they're used to handling problems. And I can tell you that almost with 100% certainty, it's nice from a police officer standpoint to deal with something that's not, putting out a fire, that's just helping somebody. I mean, just ask them,
And like the dumpster diving thing, like we had excuses prepared. Oh, we're just looking for boxes.
I lost my wedding band in the
We're
restaurant.
looking for moving boxes.
Where's my tray?
Right. I'm the world's worst liar though, so I was practicing in my head, because if I lie, here's what happens when I try to lie. I cannot keep a straight face and I will laugh. If I do manage to keep a straight face, I'm going to tell you the truth in like less than 5 minutes. Like John thinks it's hilarious because he can lie like amazingly. And like I've gotten him to believe me like 2 or 3 times. And, I'm like walking out the room, smile, trying to bite my tongue kind of thing. And he thinks it's hilarious because I won't even make it down the hallway before I turn back around and I'm like, dude, totally lied to you. Totally believed me. Ha 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 ha. And he's like, baby, it doesn't count if you come tell me the truth. But I can't lie. So anyways, I was practicing in my head. We're looking for moving boxes. We're looking for moving boxes, like different inflections. That's yeah. Anyway, just don't be a jerk. Don't like throw things around. Don't like sling stuff out of it and leave a mess everywhere that you go, because that will definitely get you in trouble.
So Tristan my wonderful wife made a reference from the other room where she's watching on her iPhone, a reference to, I'm just, when you're in the dumpster, you say, I'm looking for a perfectly good white guy, which was actually a reference to the movie Men at Work with Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez. Do y'all not remember that one? Look, somebody threw away
forever.
Yeah, they dragged the dude and they're like, look, somebody threw away a perfectly good white guy.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I guess when you start quoting, like, that one probably came out in late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, when you start quoting those kind of movies, you're officially old, especially when everybody goes, I don't get it. And you're like, oh.
That is, yeah. Now I need to watch that.
That was a good
That's when
movie.
movies were funny.
I think they had Men at Work too, didn't they? But it wasn't good. Did they have a second one?
I didn't even know they made a second one.
Okay, I made that up. I totally lied.
Liar.
So go ahead.
Talk about the record keeping thing, because we're going to forget.
Okay, the record keeping thing that Christy Davis asked. I want to address that. It really depends. For me, I hate QuickBooks. I suck at QuickBooks. I'm actually decent at it now because we helped run a nonprofit thrift store and I was forced to learn QuickBooks, and I'm better at it than I like to admit. GoDaddy.
So god awful.
What?
QuickBooks. It's like god awful.
I mean, I hate spreadsheets. I hate Excel. I hate everything accounting.
I learned me some spreadsheets.
If it's all about what do they call it, a cell or whatever. I mean, I hate it. I really do. And I think most people tend to, I love math, but I just don't like math programs. So, for me, Christy, the best investment has been GoDaddy bookkeeping. It will pull in your eBay sales. It will pull in your Amazon sales. You can tie your credit card to it. You can.
Does it do Etsy?
I have no clue.
Okay.
I sold one thing I sold the homemade sock, or I don't know. I mean, like literally, I think Tristan did something on Etsy one time a long time ago, 10 years ago. And actually she did, because for a long time we had a 10-cent balance with them, but they wouldn't let me pay with a debit card. And so it just, for like 8 years, it hung out there as a 10-cent balance. So yeah, I don't know. But GoDaddy bookkeeping will pull in your eBay, it will pull in your fees. You can tie your credit cards, your debit cards. Most debit cards, ours actually does from our credit union. You can tie in your bank account. You can categorize each, if you normally go to Salvation Army, you can flag it to say any purchase from the debit card, the Salvation Army is cost of goods. I mean, you can literally, you can teach it, and it's amazing. And it is normally, I think, $9.99 a month. There are coupon codes out there for GoDaddy bookkeeping. I highly recommend it because it's so simple. The coupon
it does pull in Etsy, they said.
It does pull in Etsy? Okay, cool. Go to Google and put in GoDaddy bookkeeping. It used to be called Outright, and it was an add-on through eBay, and that's when I first started using it. Go to Google, put in GoDaddy bookkeeping coupon. Look for coupon 2016. Find some coupons. One of the groups the other day advertised that there was one that got it down to like $6.99 a month or $7.99 a month. I think if you pay for an entire year, it's actually cheaper. It's a whole lot cheaper, I can tell you this, than handing your accountant a box full of receipts and going, I don't know what happened. I mean, it really is amazing. I'm not a bookkeeping person. I'm not good with it, and it really has saved our butts. So I know she also asked that in the Alabama pickers and resellers group for eBay and Amazon. I'm plugging that one again. You like that?
Is that a great Facebook group, or I'm not sure what could that be?
Hold on. Let me give you a link. Funny you asked.
Oh my, thank you.
Here's the link. Here's the link in the side chat. You should join. No, but although I haven't responded in the last 10 hours, I've been busy. So
wait, there's more.
It is. I mean, she asked in there, and I'm seeing that now. It was like 2 hours ago. And I think a couple people, responded in there, and Danica obviously covered it because she wasn't doing a break job today. She was having off time. So, God, I'm so,
take care of your stuff.
I feel like I just ran a marathon and ran back into my office and went, okay, here we go.
I told you not to hurry.
It's fine. No, I don't. I hate leaving, an audience or everybody in the chat. I hate leaving people hanging. Like, it was supposed to start at 7. Why is it 7:05? That's really one of my biggest pet peeves.
I get never started on time, right?
I know, and I know every week I get blamed for it, but that's boring because it's really, I'm the scapegoat. I'm honestly the scapegoat.
How late did yours and Tristan's show start?
Oh, Tristan and I did a show recently. If you haven't checked it out, go to the side chat, or if you're watching this afterwards, check out Alabama Pickers and watch Ask Me Anything with a resale married couple. Yeah, the first 5 minutes were like pure
comedy gold.
It was a disaster. But I've gotten a lot of comments on that were like, you know what? I'm just glad to see that my wife and I aren't the only ones that fight. And I'm like, that was the real, it wasn't that we were fighting. I was frustrated. She was frustrated. She didn't know how to work the technology. The beginning of the show, the first 5 or 6 minutes, if nothing else, are humorous.
It was awesome.
But that's the way. But it's like this show, or it's like our show, or whatever. We don't edit. What you see is what you get. It's real Danica. with her hair all jacked up like it is right now.
I know. And
I'm
it
just
won't
kidding.
stop.
I'm just kidding.
But it is.
No, I just totally threw that out there. There's nothing wrong with your hair. But, with her globes all askew above her head, it's all off kilter, and the equator is pointing the wrong direction.
That's because globes are supposed to be on an axis.
I mean, it is.
Shut up.
Crap up now. But it is what it is, and it's like our videos that we do, or like your videos. Well, yours are a little more professional, but I don't.
I'm not even in
I don't
my
even know
videos.
how. I don't even know how to edit.
It's pointless. I don't understand. Okay, this is a pet peeve of mine. I don't understand people that put themselves out there and they're like this, and then if you actually talk to them or if you see them in real life or whatever, they're like that, they're completely different. Don't do that. If you're going to be on YouTube or anything in life, be yourself. Put yourself out there as you are. Love yourself as you are. Stop editing your stuff and just be real with people. And if you screw up and own it.
I mean, there's a lot of people that say, well, I do the edit. I watch these people that like live in RVs full time and whatever. And they're like, I spend 4 hours a day editing a 30-minute video. And I'm like, why? Just put it in there. If you screw up and you go, wow, I didn't mean to say it. What I really meant was, and that's the way I kind of prefer to do my videos more like that. Hey, I know I just said that, but that's really not what I meant. Here's what I meant. And then explain yourself versus all of a sudden there's a cut in the video and people go, what happened? It's about being real. I mean, if you want to help teach people, if you want to, which I think is why we do this show and why we do other videos and stuff, try to learn from my mistakes, which are many. You're not gonna learn from my mistakes if I don't show you my mistakes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I would rather, there's no pride. I have no pride. I do have pride. I have pride in myself and hopefully in my abilities, but at the same time, I don't have pride to the point of where I have a problem admitting that I said something wrong or screwed up.
Well, I don't think you're really helping people by projecting, perfection. You know what I mean? I don't. I think you should always strive your best to do your best, whatever. But right. All of this editing and, fake personality and things like that it does. That bothers me so bad. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to look perfect. You don't need to sound perfect. None of it. You just need to be real. And people respect real. People want real. I don't think anybody wants, unless you make some of those funny videos, and then you can be as fake as you want to.
Well, it's like I was saying the other day, when I first started the whole YouTube reselling community, I've done the reselling for years, but I discovered, oh my gosh, there's this whole community on YouTube. And I started watching different people. And it was, Chad Golden Finger Picker and his wife, Kim. And I started watching them and they would screw up and she would be like, you're such an idiot. She'd look at Chad and be like, you're such an idiot. And he would laugh. And I was like, but they didn't edit that out. They left it in. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's a real married couple or a real resellers screwing up and calling each other out and just being real. And I just feel like had it not been for that sense of being real, I probably wouldn't have stuck around, but I did stick around. I watched more of their videos and other people's videos.
Now you know why I don't do videos with John, because I don't believe in editing my videos. So
oh my God, they'd be hilarious though, because now that I've met John in person several times, and it would be, Danica would be awesome. It would be
it makes me nervous.
Pure gold.
Like to even think about it makes me nervous. Like I'm sweating. We're going to visit Johnny, and we're going to a town that's like an hour and a half away from where his house is.
From civilization.
No, we're going to civilization from where his house is. Because because we got to go see Deadpool. But anyway, I thought about just turning the camera on and, you know, just let it roll. Not for that long, of course, but
Right.
so we'll see. I don't like my kids' faces. Y'all know that. I don't like my kids' faces on camera. I don't like their faces online anywhere unless it's I can control the privacy of it kind of thing. So I don't know. I know that's like super uber overprotective, but as much as we travel and move around, and so much of the time it's the kids and I traveling, which is why I carry a gun, you know. But so if y'all thinking about messing with me or my children's while we're by ourselves,
I got to protect my kids from zombies. And let me tell you,
I
if you
do.
threaten my children, you're no threat compared to a zombie.
You are no threat. I practice a lot. But I mean, seriously, that's why I got my concealed carry, because we travel alone. You know, the kids and I travel alone, and we aren't always driving through the greatest neighborhoods. So I have 2 pistols that I have on me. One is on my body, one is in my car. I will hurt you. I have a knife too that looks like a, Tristan says it looks like a,
Yeah, babe.
like a dinosaur claw.
Yeah, babe. Oh, hang on.
You can turn it off. It's fine.
The food's here, but she has to muzzle the dog. So can you
what?
like talk amongst yourself?
I can always talk for myself.
Give me 60 seconds for. He's already been tipped.
Please stop rushing. Just go.
Russian?
Okay. Russian.
I don't know Russian.
You know what I'm saying? There are banana pants people out there. I had to go over and see if y'all think that I'm like crazy now. Tristan said she loves John in a completely appropriate way. See, that's the awesome thing about me and Tristan and Dusty and John, like our friendship. It is we get along like so well, and I think that Dusty and John are a lot alike. Tristan and I are a lot alike, but there's like I could leave Tristan and John, I could leave them together for like a week and would never worry about anything. Like it would never even enter my head. You know what I mean? Like there's just that level of comfort. It's fantastic. But anyways, John lure you too, Tristan. I did think about being your birthday present. John told me actually that I should come down to your guys' house and do the show from your house Monday night. And then come home like Tuesday. So we'll have to see.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm about ready. Oh, Thrifty Treasures. I'm about ready to get a gun too. Johnny is watching. John, stop watching my show.
We don't edit out the dog. We don't edit out the Chinese food delivery guy.
John is in the audience watching the show again.
What's his name?
Johnny B.
Johnny B. I thought he was a stalker. That's your husband?
Well, he said, "Am I that bad?"
Yeah.
Because I said that I could not be.
And goes, "Is that Johnny? Or is that John?" And I said, "Yeah." Banana pants. Wow, I've missed a whole bunch of
I know. Stuff. I had to see if they were like, Danica, what kind of camera did you get? I got the Logitech C920.
I have the C930E, but go ahead and tell the difference.
Yeah, the C930E, there is no software. It is plug and play. You get what it wants you to have. The C920, you can download software from Logitech, and so you can mess with it. I can change, how much it shows of the screen, and I can alter what it does. The C930E, you can't, but I think they both have the same resolution. They both have a mic on it if you want the mic. I can't think of, I'm not sure. Johnny, did you leave? Like once I called you out and noticed that you were
No, he said
there.
love you, dear, but I said love you too, dear, and
Where he said that.
and so did and so did Tristan in the side chat. But I have a
Oh.
question. He's out in the middle of nowhere with like dial up, whatever. You know, you're using your data right now.
He I don't see where he said love you, dear.
Do
I
need
saw one is in her bra. I do not have a gun in my bra. My guns is too big for that. I saw where Johnny said, "Am I that bad?"
So
Anyway, go ahead.
So apparently he saves his data all week long just to watch you. That's all.
Just to mess with me.
That is true love.
He has been like FaceTime calling me. Like we have video calls on our phones now, because we do Android phones. And so he kept calling me, and I hadn't taken a shower yet. And I like kept pointing the camera up at the ceiling, so he couldn't see me.
Well, Tristan was, she was gone to help her dad with shoulder surgery here a while back, and she was gone for what we thought was going to be help your dad with shoulder surgery, help him drive home, kick his butt to the curb, come home, and it was 11 days, and we FaceTimed each other a lot during that whole thing, which of course we have Wi-Fi here, and her dad has decent Wi-Fi, so yeah, FaceTime's awesome.
Normally we would Skype, stuff like that, but
right
where with that house, there's no way. It's not even possible. But now that because Android phones just updated to Marshmallow. And that brought video
Marshmallow calls. Do I want to
Yeah.
know what that is on Android?
All of the Android OS updates, they're named after like Jelly Bean. They're all a sweet.
Are you saying? I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I think YouTube's been a little glitchy tonight because I got a couple messages today from people, like comments on videos that came through, like the show I did with Brock Parks on Tuesday. People were saying that they clicked on them, that it would say video not available. Like the one that Tristan and I did Friday night, the eBay and Amazon resellers Ask Me Anything with a married couple. Mm-hmm. People were clicking on that, and it was getting. So I messaged Chad because he's kind of the YouTube guru when it comes to that. He said that had happened to him in the past, and I'm clicking on them now, and it's like totally normal. So if you're getting any weird glitches on YouTube tonight, it may be a YouTube thing. So
do a refresh.
If you're watching this later, oh my God, and I just realized my shirt, I'm watching myself and like what the audience is seeing, and my shirt is unbuttoned and I got my wife beater hanging out.
Hi.
I've been in a t-shirt and a wife beater all day. Guys, it was like, I mean.
You live in Alabama, honey. It's
no,
okay.
It was 70. Like I looked at because I knew I'd end up talking about this on the show. So on my way home, that 11 minutes, 5 miles, whatever, up the mountain, I looked and it was 57 degrees, but it had been 70 all day. I get there, my brother-in-law has on shorts and like shoes with no socks and whatever. And I'm like, I'm in army cargo pants, a wife beater, a t-shirt, and these like Ralph Lauren polo boots with wool socks. So I'm standing there thinking, oh my God, I am sweating my ass.
It's hot up in here.
But big shout out to Advance Auto Parts, because if you need a part and it's before about 12 noon and you tell them you need the part, they will have it there by usually 2 or 3 o'clock from another store. That's pretty awesome. And they'll make you pay for it up front. If Johnny's still watching, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Jeff Davidson said you look like Adam.
That's awesome. You know what? That's it, Jeff. You did it. I'm taking it off. I'm doing the wife beater. You know, back when I was skinnier, that was kind of my work attire. We lovingly called them wife beaters. I mean, they're just tank top undershirts, and I would wear those all the time. I mean, now I look like a freaking sausage stuffed into a something.
Sausage stuffed in a thing of stuff.
Is that like two Christmas
Lord.
hams? I mean, yeah, it doesn't work as much anymore, but I mean, that's always been, I've still got a bunch of them in the closet like these that I've probably had for 5-6 years. But that used to be when I was a little thinner, I loved wife beaters. I mean, they're great Fruit of the Loom undershirts. Fruit of the Loom. I'm getting all kinds of commercial plugs tonight.
We should be getting paid.
So we got Fruit of the Looms, Advanced Auto Parts, which, sorry, O'Reilly, but you suck. You wouldn't give me wholesale pricing.
We talked about Staples. We talked about Office Depot. Not shopping your dumpsters, but that's something. That is name recognition.
6 inches of snow. What are you talking about,
What?
Great Lakes Treasure Hunter?
Wait, where? Oh, I won't get it. Not where I'm at.
So, do we have any reseller questions?
Well, no. Stop. Christy had another one. Remember?
What was the other one?
Is there any advantage? Like, do you get? Are you more likely to get repeat business with a store on eBay?
Christy Davis. Oh, I'll mention.
And the one you put in the chat. I have no
okay,
idea.
so Christy Davis, who had a question earlier about bookkeeping, also had a question. Do you get more repeat business on eBay with a store? I'm going to tell you right now, as somebody that sells very eclectic items that are all over the board. I mean, if you're selling sewing machine parts, or you're selling nothing but sewing patterns, or you're selling, I'm picking on sewing here for a minute, you're selling nothing but brake pads for cars. If you're selling that type of thing, yes, I feel like you would get people that would go, hey, see sellers' other items, and would stay within your store. There's a lot of advantages to stores. Number one, you get so many free listings a month. So you have to kind of figure out, okay, it saves you, I don't know what listing fees are now. I think they're 10 cents still. If a listing fee is 10 cents and you subscribe at the lowest store package and it gives you $50 a month, and I can't remember, Danica, you just turned your camera off and left me.
Well, no, I'm here. It just, that's why I put it in the chat. I thought I can hear the boys in the hallway, and you know how I am. So I turned the camera off for a second in case they pop in the door.
First and foremost, with that store subscription level, figure out how many free listings will this give me a month? How much will it save me versus the cost of the store subscription? That's the biggest thing. Secondly, and there'll be people that don't agree with this, but I've done this long enough that I've seen the math, and to me, this is my opinion, but it makes sense and it works. I do feel like eBay gives you increased visibility. When people go normally to eBay and they search for brake pads for 2006 Jeep, 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee front brake pads, I mean, it's automatically going to show up by default best match.
I think that's totally true.
That whole best match thing is the algorithm that nobody really knows. It's a secret algorithm with eBay that's called Cassini. That was a code name they gave it back in the day. It is, people have figured out bits and pieces of it. And I actually, after our Friday night show that Tristan and I did, I stayed in a hangout with Joe Panico and a couple other people, Dustin Saunders and some other, and I showed them some tools that I have that show how different things affect your search visibility. One of which, the biggest thing was watchers, how many watchers you have. There's a lot of things that affect that. One of the things that I feel like does affect that is store subscriptions. If you pay $50 a month for the medium store subscription, is it going to give you better visibility? I truly believe yes. Can I prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt? Oh, no, absolutely not. But I don't pay $50 a month for that on some bullcrap reason that I just have a hunch. It's a very educated guess. I do feel like that it gives you better visibility within eBay. That was my controversial comment of the night.
That was your controversial comment of the night?
Well, no, I mean, there's, it's a whole, I mean, there's whole videos out there. Search eBay Cassini, Cassini. You're going to get 550 million different things. And I did cover this in that after show thing with Joe and Dustin Saunders. And it was, I showed some things that I really felt were true. Free shipping. There's a lot of things that get you better visibility, which leads to better sales. Free shipping, top rated seller, 1 day handling time, the store subscription that you have, it makes sense. I mean, let's stop and think about it. If you're paying, yes, eBay could be totally greedy, but if you're paying eBay $50 a month for a store subscription versus somebody that's paying nothing, would they have an incentive to get you to pay $50 a month every month? Yeah, they absolutely would. They could potentially, feel like I'm having to kind of preface everything here, they could potentially give you better search visibility. And those people that paid the $50 would get better sales, make more money, make, whatever. It's not, nothing has ever been proven, because obviously if anybody ever figured out eBay's search algorithm, it would, the cat would get out of the bag and eBay would just change it. So it's, for years and years and years, it's like trying to figure out the buy box on Amazon. I mean, none of it's ever really been proven, but there's enough smart people out there that are good enough with numbers, good enough with statistics to figure out some things that work. And, you can believe what you want, believe what you don't want. But me personally, we pay for the $50 a month or $59.99 a month store subscription, even though we don't really need that big of a store. Yeah, we kind of do. That's about where we're at. But even when I wasn't at that level, I felt like I got increased sales because of it.
Where were you at the 2-year thing? Mitten State Picker, where were you guys at 2 years in the business?
Yeah, that was another question. Mitten State Picker Lisa B said, where were you guys at 2 years in the business? I think that question meant when you were 2 years into reselling, at what level were you at? Is that correct? Is it a correct assumption?
I'm assuming.
Me personally, it was kind of, that was kind of a different day, a different age. 2 years in would have been about 1999, 2000. Things were different back then. You could literally list a turd on eBay and people buy it. You could put, toast with Mother Teresa in the middle of it. People buy it. I was still, back then, we were still definitely doing a lot of yard sailing, estate sailing, selling a lot of $9.99, $14.99 items. Picture taking was a lot easier back then. The listing process was a lot easier back then. Things were quicker and easier to list. But at the same time, we also weren't making a full-time. 2 years in, we were close. We were kind of making a full-time income, but our kids weren't as old. We didn't have as much as far as expenses. A lot of things were different. We were selling automotive parts back then it was a totally different day and age. So I don't know that it really applies to now. Back then, nobody was really selling car parts on eBay. We were selling used car airbags. We were selling instrument clusters, climate controls, headlights, taillights, rear view mirrors, all these little parts, anything that was easily shippable in a 12-12-12 box or 12-12-6 box. So it was a totally different animal because we didn't have a whole lot of competition. If you tried to sell those same items now, you'd have a lot of competition. So it's kind of a twofold thing. our price point was definitely a lot less back then, but our competition was a lot less. Does that make sense?
Nothing you say makes sense.
Damn you, Danica.
Nothing.
Damn you, Danical.
Damn you, Danica.
Daniel.
Damn it, Daniel. I was trying to give her a chance to answer. I asked if that's where she was, if she was 2 years in. Yes, that's where I'm at. Trying to make enough so the hubby can quit his job and do this full time with me. Is that like, that's your guys' goal, is for the two of you to go full time together? And if so, why? What's stopping you from, is he like helping on the weekends, that kind of thing?
So that was Mitten State Picker, Lisa B, that said, yes, that's where I'm trying. That's where I'm at, trying to make enough so the hubby can quit his job and do this full time with me, plus making YouTube videos. Number one, YouTube videos are great, but they're
a time suck.
It is a time suck. In the same amount of time that it takes me to, my videos are a little different. We talked about that. Tristan and I talked about that the other night. In the same amount of time that I drive down the road where I'd normally been driving. But if you're coming back home, you're having to upload it, you're having to do keywords and upload your video and all that, what could you have listed in that same amount of time? You're helping people, but in order to help people, you need to be at the point where you can help yourself, if that makes sense. And if your husband is still having to work and can't quit his job, whatever, it is giving back. And you just said, I saw in the comments where you said, I'm just giving back with that. It is totally giving back. But at the same time, I feel like people aren't ready to give back until they've given to themselves. Until you're to a point where you're comfortable.
Don't let them be a detriment to your business, I think, is the thing.
Totally do it. That's where your heart and that's where your passion is, because that's where my heart and that's where my passion is. Then totally do them. But if it is, like Danica said, a detriment to your business, where you're like, hey, I really should be listing tonight, but I spent 3 hours doing this YouTube video or whatever, then, your business needs to come first. Yeah. Obviously. Does that make sense? Sort of.
I think that beyond the giving back or, wanting to help or whatever, I think that there is a sense of community in doing the YouTube videos. And I think that a lot of people, it's the only sense of community they have in the business, so to speak. And I understand that, like, I get it. But so I see so many people, you'll see them. It's like the more videos they start putting up, the more you see them in some of the Facebook groups or in some of the chats saying, so much to list. I've got so much to list. I've got this. I really need to do this. I really need to do that. And those are things that need to come first.
Number one, if you have items that are unlisted in your house and your bills are not paid, then you don't need to do YouTube video. Do I have a lot of items in my house that are unlisted? Yeah, but my bills are paid and that's been taken care of first. So
please don't think we're picking on you.
No, but that was actually great. That was actually an awesome question.
Yeah, don't think we're not picking on you doing your YouTube videos. It's more of a kind of a PSA. Yeah, you know what I mean? This is not. I feel like we're attacking this poor woman. Like,
no, I hope she doesn't feel like that. But I mean, it's, take care of your business first and foremost. Get yourself to a point where your husband feels comfortable enough, and she mentioned worried about the slow months, to where you have so much inventory in your eBay arsenal or your Amazon arsenal to where you can weather any storm. I mean, Tristan and I took a lot of time off in December and January, but it was because we fed the Amazon beast and fed the eBay beast and had so much built up that where you can weather that storm. It even actually got us through part of the way through February. I mean, things have really died down now, and I got to feed the beast some more. But to to where you can do all that and then be comfortable with cutting back and then have time for YouTube videos, if that makes sense, or have time for paying back. You know, it's kind of, I don't know.
We need to learn the Amazon way. I love Amazon. I am not an eBay person. I don't know how many of our shows, or, you know, us, I don't know how much you know about us, but I so rarely do eBay because I hate
Danica hates eBay.
I hate eBay. I hate everything about eBay. It just annoys me to no end.
At the same time, I'm on kind of a love-hate with Amazon. I love it when it's there.
Yeah.
But it's like the beast that if you don't feed it, you're not going to get anything out of it, you know?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I like that I do my bit and I send it away and I don't have to look at it again. I don't have to think about it again. I don't have to take a bunch of pictures of it because I mainly retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. So 99% of the stuff that I do is new. So I am lazy. I am a super, super lazy reseller. Like, I don't want to have to clean this thing and look for completed listings. And okay, I need to do sell similar to that. Let's change this. Let's write this. Let's, oh my goodness, take 12 pictures and no. And then I have to ship it. And then I have to answer a bunch of questions. No, I don't. I just don't. But I've been doing it lately. Been selling some stuff. Sold a $50 shirt. Wait, is that what I took?
$50 what?
Hilton. I don't remember what I took for that. I think I put $75 on it, which was redonkulous. And I think I took a $50 offer on like a Pendleton shirt that I gave 50 cents or $1 for.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I love that. You know, that's cool and fun, but it's so much work.
Great Lakes Treasure Hunter asked Dusty Danica, have you listened to Scavenger Life's entry into FBA? Yeah, I totally have. I have mad respect for them. I listen to, as a matter of fact, I look forward to every Sunday night, and that is kind of when Tristan and I go to bed, she falls asleep very quickly, and that is my podcast I listen to every Sunday night. And if for some reason I fall asleep, I actually listen to it over again Monday night, and she goes, are you really listening to them again? I'm like, yeah, I didn't catch the first half. I have mad respect for them. I have caught their entry into FBA. I do know that they're trying because they want to get into that. They want to have that as kind of they are a very passive income type couple. I've listened to it. Let's just say that. They're nothing bad by any means. They've got some great information. They're very new. They're going to make some mistakes. I see a couple of mistakes they're making already, which I've thought about contacting Jay about. They're trying. You know, Amazon is really the animal, which they're in the position. I feel like they're poised in the position to do that when you have your own income, like they do with rental properties, with eBay. When you have your own income coming in, Amazon is really, really hard to do unless you have yourself established. And I see so many people, I want to jump into Amazon, whether it be FBA or Merchant Fulfilled or Amazon in general. It's really, really hard to do. Your payout time is a whole lot longer, especially if you're new, and especially if you get put under review, like a velocity review for selling too much too quick. It's not the same as eBay. And I think this is where my love-hate relationship with eBay comes in, because I love eBay in the fact that I went out today and I bought this, and I paid $13 for it. This is e-cig liquid, by the way. It's like a facetious example. But I bought this today for $13, and I could come home if I didn't have the show tonight. I could snap a picture of it with my digital camera, and I could list that for $29.99, and I could go to bed. I could wake up tomorrow morning, and I have $29.99 on my PayPal debit card that essentially I can pay bills with. I can go buy more inventory at the local flea market or thrift store or whatever with. I could go buy more of this crap from my e-cig guy. You know, it was cash. I could pull it out of the ATM. You can't do that with Amazon. And so I see too many people trying to jump into, oh, I want to do Amazon. Oh, I want to do this because it's, you know, what I hear people saying, what I hear people doing. But at the same time, are you really ready for it as a business? I mean, are you comfortable enough? And it's kind of the hard truth that nobody ever really wants to say. Everybody wants to talk about how great Amazon is. And sorry, Danica, but you know,
I don't think Amazon is easy to get into.
I know, but this is where I know you've never said that, but it's kind of where Danica and we don't disagree because we're totally on the same plane. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's two totally different business models. It's the guy that's struggling to keep his power bill on and wants to put that on eBay and get immediate money off PayPal so he can pay his power bill versus the guy that wants to send that into Amazon FBA, which, by the way, don't send in e-cig liquid. That's a big no-no. But theoretically, send that into Amazon FBA and go, okay, it'll take 3 days to get there, 2 days more to get checked in. Mm-hmm. Then it'll take this. Then at the end of the day, you know, everybody else is selling on Amazon, which is a very cutthroat market. It's a very aggressive market. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, you can set it and forget it like you can with eBay, but you're going to get forgotten yourself ultimately. And when it does sell, you might see your money another 2 weeks from then, if not 3 weeks, when you get your disbursement. You know,
my situation lends me a lot of flexibility. It lends me a lot of, and I try. I know you guys. I say this all the time, but there are new people that come through here constantly. That's why I say it all the time. My situation is not your situation. My situation allows me to. Everything that I sell can be long tail. You know, I don't have to sell it quickly because I am blessed in my situation. You know,
you're not dependent upon your reselling income necessarily for survival, for keeping the lights on, keeping a roof over the head. Yeah. Whereas I am dependent upon that, but at the same time, I've got enough sales going on that it's not scary. It's not scary like it used to be. I want to write that one down. That was actually pretty good. It's not frightening. I'm not to that point. I have a buffer, you know, and you may hear from another reseller that's over here that, you know, is like, hey, I don't know whether or not to quit my job because like somebody said, Mitten State Picker said earlier, my husband can't quit his job. I don't know her situation, but it might be about health insurance. It might be about the security. And, you know, there's so many different scenarios, but when you watch shows and you watch stuff like this or watch people's videos, at the end of the day, you don't know what makes them tick. You don't know what their actual situation is. You don't know if their house payment is $10,000 a month or like ours, $800 a month. You know, you don't know what their situation is. You don't know if they have car payments, no car payments, whatever else. I mean, you have to figure out what works for you. It's like any business. And I think so many people come into this and don't necessarily treat it as a business. You've got to decide. I mean, first and foremost, if you go to the Small Business Administration, they will tell you, you need to come up with a game plan. You need to come up with a business plan. What is your goal? Do you want to make $1,000 a month? Do you want to make $10,000 a month? Figure out what your goal is and work toward it. If you need to make if you need to make $10,000 a month, but for you that means selling $9.99 coffee mugs, but you need to sell 1,000 of them a month. Was that math right? To make $10,000, then that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to literally be taking pictures 24/7. But at the same time, if your goal is only to make $1,000 a month, then you know what? You only got to sell 100 coffee mugs a month. You know, it's just everybody's situation is different. And I think too many people jump into it and they go, oh, look what they're doing. But you know what they are doing? You don't know a damn thing. And I feel like that's, I don't mean to be brash or be harsh. I mean, we try to be really transparent, Tristan and I do in our videos. You know, here's what our monthly expenses are. You know, here's what I spent today. Here's what, you know. But I think there's so many people out there doing videos. I'm not bashing them by any means, but do they ever tell you what you know, I'm making a full-time living? You're making a full-time. What does full-time mean? Mm-hmm. Full-time to Danica means something totally different than what it does to Dusty. It means something totally different than what it does to Chad Pagel, the Golden Finger Picker, because he's a friend of mine. I know I can pick on him without him getting pissed off. You know, it means something totally different than what it does to Mitten State Picker or
Angie, who's got her first merchant fulfilled thing up on Amazon.
Or Angie, you know, or Christy Davis. I don't know anything about Christy Davis. You know, I'm Christy. I'm not picking on you. Christy's never.
We have so totally.
Christy's never going to come back. She can be like, "Oh my God, they're picking on." But
yeah,
I don't
we have
know
absolutely ruined. We've ruined it for Christy. She's done with it.
But you know, here's the thing. I don't know anything about Christy. I don't know if she's married, unmarried. I don't know if she has whatever. I don't know. I know Angie sort of because I watched her videos, so I kind of know like where she lives, and I've seen her sod in her yard, which is gorgeous, by the way. You know, I don't know what they require as far as income. Mm-hmm. No more so than you know what I require as far as income, what Danica requires. And so I think it's just smart.
A lot.
I think it's Danica's high maintenance, you know. She has to have like Uzis to kill zombies and stuff.
It's not
I don't know. That was so I didn't mean to go off on my little tangent, but it was
but it's true. You know, and I think that people, we say this all the time, and like I said, because we constantly have new people running through here, so that's why we reiterate a lot of things. But you don't know what somebody's margins are. These people that you see them throwing up $50K a month in sales. Okay, that's great. What were your margins? You know, what was your cost?
Oh, you did 5%.
You know what I mean?
You did 5% on 50K. Well, that's
that's
awesome.
great.
You made $2,500
on every. I mean, you know what I mean? You don't know. You can see somebody throwing that stuff up, and don't let it discourage you. And you don't need to compare yourself to everybody else. What I'm happy with and what Dusty's happy with and what you're happy with are going to be three completely and totally different things. Your region there where you live has a lot to do with what you sell, unless you do online arbitrage.
I was talking to my brother-in-law tonight, and we were talking about Windsor's Jeep Cherokee while we were working on it. He goes, "Did you add it to the insurance?" I said, "Yeah, but she's still under a learner's permit and all that kind of stuff." And well, how much, you know, I said, well, it raised it this much, whatever. And I said, here's what we pay for the truck out back, the Jetta, and that one we pay this. And I've got, you know, full coverage here, whatever. And he goes, wow, you know, because he's originally from Houston, Texas. And he goes, I remember when I was in Texas, you know, like insurance was so much different. Like the cost of living, my point being the cost of living where I live is totally different than maybe Texas or where he lived before. And it's just, you know, everybody's, I mean, if y'all knew the amount of money we could live on each month and survive well, I mean, it's so low compared to like Jeff Davidson, where he lives. He lives in I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm picking on you. You know, he lives in California. The cost of living is 2-3 times higher there. You know, so what it takes for me to support a family of 4 on my income here maybe a third of what it costs him to support a family of four there, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, I think people jump in and go, wow, they're doing this. I see that. Don't get starstruck. I mean, don't get caught up in numbers. Don't get caught up in, and this is the only business, and I've always said this, and I've preached this for the year or so that I've been fortunate enough to be on YouTube shows and stuff. Don't get caught up in the gross sales figures, because this is the only business I've ever seen in my entire life where, excuse my language, gross sales figures don't mean shit.
Nope.
Because,
Nope.
you know, my dad came from a grocery store background. You know, we owned a restaurant for a while. My dad has shipping type stores now, UPS stores. You know, you can pretty much gauge from one to the next what the average profit margin is across those industries. This business itself, this business is the only business I've ever seen where I make 300, 400, 500, 600% profit margin. And then I know a guy that goes, I do $1 million a year on Amazon, but he makes 3.5% profit margin, 3.5%, you know? So you make $35,000 a year off of $1 million. Whereas if I did $1 million, I would make, I mean, it's that much different. Just be careful. Don't get discouraged. Don't get whatever. Figure out what works for you and then just pursue it, you know, and don't take tips from everybody by all means, but at the same time, don't let that hold you back, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, I'm sorry, I keep hearing my kids and I'm afraid they're going to come in. I don't want to discourage people, but at the same time, I don't know how to say it. Just be careful. You know what I mean? And keep to your own. You know what I mean? Like, just worry about your numbers and worry about what you're doing and worry about what you need, your family, that kind of thing. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah,
because the Joneses are probably not doing everything. What they're doing is probably not what you think they're doing.
And if you went out to a yard sale this weekend and you spent $50, and today's now Monday, and you went out Friday and Saturday and hit yard sales, and you spent $50, and you came home and you got $500 worth of stuff or $200 worth of stuff, you got it listed in the last 2 days, and you've already doubled your money. There you go. That's what's working for you. You know, that's what's working. Keep doing that. Keep hitting those yard sales. Keep finding, you know, branch out, but keep finding those same type of items and keep buying them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about what this guy over here that goes, Amazon FBA is the way to go. And it's whatever, you know, or this guy that says, you know, I'm drop shipping on eBay, or I'm doing this and I'm only buying Robert Graham shirts. You know, screw Robert Graham shirts. No, I'm going down the rabbit hole now. I've never sold a Robert Graham shirt in my life. And you know what? If I ever saw one, I honestly would probably laugh at it and walk by. I mean, I'm not bashing those, but I'm like, I feel like it's an oversaturated market. I'm not used to selling them. I hate selling clothing. So for me, that's something I need to walk on by.
Can you sell a merch account? That does not seem right to me.
You want to buy mine?
No, I'm serious. All right, my kids are gone. That does not seem right to me. Someone is trying to sell a merch account, and I don't think that's...
Scott Zilke is back in town. I know he just went on a road trip, not to interrupt things, but
no, you're fine.
Just paying attention to the chat said, His wife's having surgery. Y'all pray for her. She's, oh, here we go. At the hospital, wife is finally out of recovery room. I think she had to have three surgeries on back and neck problems that she's had kind of ongoing. So y'all keep Scott Zilke in your prayers. Yep. Third back surgery, second fusion. And Scott hustles. Scott's one of those guys that gets out there and spends a lot of time on the road and a lot of Amazon. But, you know, that's I can't afford to spend time on the road. He can't afford to spend time on the road. But he's figured out, that's another great example. He's figured out what works for him. Mm-hmm. And I do know that he knew she had this back surgery coming up because he and I had talked about it, or he had mentioned it. And so he catered his business around being able to be there for the surgery. You know, that's another example of, you got to do what works for you, and you got to cater what works to you and figure out what works, you know.
Ultimately, you just need to do what's good for you and your family.
Well, it's just, you know, everybody tries to compare this business, like I said before, to like a brick and mortar, like a grocery store. A brick and mortar is static. You know, it's in one place. It's right there. It's permanent. You have controlled clientele. You have all of these controllable things, versus a business like this that's totally just could be selling one thing from the 1 minute to the next. That's totally, you know, just all over the board. And people just try to make it like a brick and mortar, you know, like, this is what I do. This is what works. This is what worked for your eBay business. This will, you know, no, you know, I've got different merchandise in my area than Danica has. Mm-hmm. You know, my thrift stores are different. My sources are different. You know, my profit margins are going to be different. It's totally, and it's really all my years in retail business and being, I hope, fairly successful with my father and his businesses and my own businesses and all the rest. This is totally unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. On the upside, the profit margins are unlike anything I've ever seen in my entire life. If you work it, if you get good at what you do, if you get lucky. But at the same time, you can't compare yourself, like you said, to the Joneses. Mm-hmm. It's a totally different beast from one person to the next.
Angie said something that breaks my heart, but I understand it completely. And she said, it's hard not to compare myself to others. That's the hardest thing for some reason. Sometimes I feel like a total failure, like I'm a pretend reseller. And you guys know, I've said this before, I feel like that there are a lot of people that don't take me seriously because the way that I was brought up, you do not discuss money. You don't discuss your income. You don't discuss anything about, I mean, it's the way that I was brought up. It's rude and it's crass. And that's for me. That's for me. But people know that, you know, I don't have to do any of this because, like I said, I have a immensely blessed life. And I feel like people don't take me seriously, but I've gotten over it. That's their problem. That's not my problem. That is your problem, not mine. And so I get that feeling like a pretend reseller. But at the same time, that breaks my heart. And I don't want you to feel that way. I don't think anyone should feel that way. If you have your business and if you are working it and rocking it to the best of your ability, then you should be proud. Because I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of what you guys get out there and do. I'm proud of your hustle, and you need to be proud of your hustle. And don't compare it to someone.
With Angie's situation, that's Treasured Vintage. In the audience, y'all click on her name, subscribe to her because she's awesome. I mean, she does like vintage. She does a ton. I mean, it's primarily cool vintage jewelry because she's good at it and she knows it. And that's kind of one of my weak spots. I love vintage anything. I love vintage jewelry. I don't know all the
the Coros from the other brands. I mean, I've learned a lot over the years, but I admire her because she knows that stuff. But she's found her niche, and she's found what works for her. She knows she's dang good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that she knows that, but I want you to know that she's dang good, because I've watched it. I mean, she's dang good at doing vintage jewelry and stuff like that, which I admire, because I watch her videos and I learn from them. I've done it for 20 years and Alexa, just talk to me. I watch.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question I heard.
Alexa, stop. Okay,
Shut up, woman.
Having an Amazon Echo. But I watch her stuff and I constantly learn something new, and I'm like, wow, didn't know that. It's just it's figuring out what you're good at, which she's dang good at what she does, and she does it and she keeps doing it. So yeah, Angie, 1 second feel like you're a failure, because you actually are an inspiration to people, whether we always,
you really are,
whether or not we,
and I know we don't tell people enough.
You have an incredible knowledge for specifically the things I've noticed, for vintage jewelry, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Angie is, if you guys are not subscribed to her, you really need to be, because she absolutely knows her stuff. And she just, she's nice. You know what I mean? Like how you can tell, like what we were talking about before, the personalities. You can tell that Angie is a genuinely good person.
Character, and yeah.
And that's not, I love vintage jewelry. I know nothing about it, like to be able to sell it. I could not, I mean, I could if I took the time.
I know enough, like Trafalgar and Coro, and so I know enough to be, Weiss was one of those that I learned a while back.
To be dangerous.
I know enough to be dangerous, because I've sold over the years, but not enough to do like she does and go out and kind of know the pieces automatically and stuff. So, find out what works for you.
Do what you love.
What are you doing? Like sorting popcorn or something there?
Me?
Yeah.
No, there was a hair on my sweatshirt.
You were like doing this over.
I have a trash
can. You were going like back and forth like this.
It was a hair. I kept missing it. Like I was trying to get it and put it in the trash can and realized I didn't have it. So I kept having to come back to my shirt.
You realize that we just went an hour and a half. That's awesome.
Oh my girl.
Oh my girl. On a positive note, which we always try to finish up with.
Oh no, we broke Angie.
What's wrong with Angie? Hold on.
We made her cry.
Oh, tears are good. Tears are good. I was talking to Logan Pagel this week, Chad's son, and I was like, dude, if you don't cry when your daughter's born, if you don't get in there, he had a baby this week, his wife Katie, and I'm like, and congratulations to them, by the way. I said, if you don't cry when your daughter's born, if you don't cry when she holds your hand for the first, I mean, something's wrong with you. You're going to cry. And I told him, I said,
you are
broken. The text message, and I said, you're going to cry like a little girl, and it's totally okay.
And you should.
And when she hits 15, you take her to the first daddy-daughter dance. And when she turns 18, you have to buy her a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and then you have to let her loose as a driver. If you don't cry then, something's wrong. You're going to cry. It's totally fine.
Good crying.
Society taught you that it's not okay to cry as a man. It's totally fine.
It's totally okay.
That had nothing to do with Angie. Sorry, but
no. Well, I saw that and I was like tears, and I was like, no, we broke Angie. What happened?
Sorry, I didn't mean to compare you to Logan.
We lure you.
But yeah. So.
Okay, we need to wrap this up, because I absolutely and totally did not realize that it was like getting closer to 9 o'clock.
That's when it's good, when you talk for an hour and a half and you don't realize. Tracy and I did that show the other night. It was like the Ask Me By the way, check out our channel.
3 hours long.
We did the Ask Me Anything with a married couple reselling whatever. And I literally, Danica, we talked, and I wasn't paying attention because it doesn't really tell you.
Dude, I was your moderator and like I told Tristan I got off, my feet were cold, so I put my feet under the covers and then I pulled it up a little more, and next thing I know, it's like midnight.
Well, somebody in
when
the
I woke
audience
up.
goes, "You realize you talked for 3 hours?" I was like, "Holy cow,
Don't we got to
really?"
go.
But the
Yeah.
audience was asking great questions, and we were really enjoying answering. You know, it's kind of like tonight. You know, when you have a great audience like what we've had tonight, and you're passionate about what you're talking about, and you're sincere and genuine about what you're talking about. I mean, it's kind of like it's like I've always said with reselling. If you find something you love to do, you'll never work another day in your life. And to sit here and talk about reselling, to me, did I have to rush home? Did I have to have cold Chinese food in the other room? Whatever. I really don't care because I love doing this. I love doing the shows and talking about what I'm passionate about in hopes that it'll help somebody else out there, you know, to not make the mistakes I did or do make the mistakes or whatever, but to grow their business where they can be successful, you know?
Yep. Oh, before we go, do not forget, if you're doing merch, to go on my vegan picker channel. And I've been doing GIMP tutorial videos on there for you guys. So far the reception has been really well. They're super short. I don't think I even hit 10 minutes on any of them. I'm trying to keep them really short. Only one thing. Thank you, QCP. Yeah, but so far, you know, it seems I'm getting a lot of positive feedback, people telling me, you know, it's working. So I'm trying to keep making them. I need you to tell me what it is that you need to know how to do. I'm trying to, like, I was making a shirt today and I was adding drop shadows and I was like, boom, I need to tell them how to do a drop shadow. You know, I'm trying to think of things as I come to them, of what to do. Dusty, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here.
But we're going to wrap this up because this has run like so long, guys. I'm super sorry. Normally we keep it at an hour, but it just kept rolling and flowing. So I didn't even realize.
That most likely didn't have anything to do with me, I'm sure.
Oh no, Dusty doesn't talk. We'll see you guys back here Monday night. And we thank you for watching. Don't forget to join the Alabama Pickers Facebook group. Check out Dusty and Tristan the other night because it was funny. And really, really informative. It was really good.
If nothing else, we just watch the first 5 minutes to make fun of us, and then
absolutely watch the first 5 minutes because it was fantastic. Like, it made me smile and made my heart grow 3 sizes that day. But that's it. That's it for us, guys. We will see you again on Monday night. Thank you for watching. Kisses, hugs, smooches.